Peace of the Lord be with you. This is the Son of the Most Sorrowful YouTube channel. And what is the Charlie Kirk effect? Okay. So I have made a video previously about Charlie Kirk and like why I admire Charlie Kirk. But there was something that came about as a result of his untimely death. You know what I mean? There was a great influence of, I mean, it's a lot of young people, right, that are moving towards like wanting to follow that same path of like having this fierce determination to like make a difference, to make your life count, to be a kind person, to fight for justice in the world, to be a voice for the voiceless. You know what I mean? To contribute to a good cause, to get back to the Lord, right? It's really super important that we talk about this, man, because I feel like in a lot of ways, it was unprecedented, unprecedented. Because the intended effect, I think, of like, and who knows, man, I don't want to get into the whole thing too much, but typically when they take out the leader of a movement, it's to stop the movement from happening. But actually, people doubled down and they wanted to carry on the legacy of Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? And I feel like that has started to die down a little, which is kind of crazy because in some way, right? I feel like there's always like distractions in the world. There's always like you go back to normality. I think people just go back to their scheduled program. And it's fewer the people that I see that it's just like, hey, let's continue to move and do something because Charlie Kirk inspired me to do something. To want to make a difference in my community, in my church, in myself. Wanted to make me and push me to be a better person, right? Somebody that knew my faith more thoroughly, somebody who studied, period. I feel like Charlie Kirk studied, period. He was incredibly smart. And not just like raw intelligence, he spoke with a lot of wisdom. You know what I mean? So he didn't just say things that he believed to be true. He said and talked about things that he knew for a fact that were true. And that made him such a formidable enemy to his adversaries, right? So the Charlie Kirk effect is what we're seeing in young people specifically. I don't want to limit it to young people. There's people of all walks of life that they feel inspired by this young man who, in his short life of 30 years, wrote books, spoke to big audiences about virtuous things of virtue. You know what I mean? He was a fierce defender of life. He's a fierce defender of, truth, ultimately. He really wanted people to live in harmony, right? To be aware of like what they deserved from their government, and I don't mean to get too political about it, but he really wanted to set things right. He wanted to get to the bottom of like why things are broken, and he was a problem solver. And he listened to people. He really listened to people when they had things to say about why they felt that they got the short end of the stick in life. He was a very compassionate person. You know what I mean? Which I feel like when you get to the top, it's easy to forget about that step, or it's easy to dismiss people that are living at a basic level of society, right? You know what I mean? But he really cared about the average citizen, like a lot. And the students, he cared about the youth. He cared about inspiring people. You know, so he had an effect on me, that's for sure. You know, so I really want to talk about the Charlie Kirk effect and to remind people, like, hey, that happened. That guy lived. You know, I don't want to get into it like an idolatrous path or anything, because at the end of the day, it's all about God. He was a son of God. He was a guy that wanted to bring people to the Lord ultimately, and to having deeper levels of faith, and to act with faith and to live their faith. You know, he really wanted that to be something that happened in society, like in big numbers. He was a big dreamer. So yeah, I think that we need that reminder every now and again that we can do what he did also. And yes, it's going to cost us. Yes, we're going to be humiliated. Yes, we're going to be pushed around and shoved and cast out and made fun of. But as long as it's all for God, right? And as long as we strive our hardest for his glory, advance the kingdom of heaven down here on earth, I think that really is the Charlie Kirk effect right there. This has been the Son of the Most Sorrowful, and I pray in Jesus' mighty name that the peace of the Lord be always with you by the intercession of Our Lady of Sorrows. I'll see you at the next one. God bless you.